Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator breakdown video. This time, Feature Discovery Series Episode 7, and we're going to be seeing what multiplayer is all about. I want you to go check out the original video so you can listen in. They explain everything in great detail. We're going to play this through, and then we're going to go through and break it down like we always do. So, one shared world, ways to engage in multiplayer. Live players only, all players, groups, and technology. They're going to show all the stuff here very soon. And we're seeing an opening glimpse into what the UI is like and what it's capable of. So that's exciting to see. But multiplayer being a one shared world, I think that's absolutely brilliant. In the opening shot, we see a Diamond 40 behind a 172, and the 172 is waiting for the Carbon Cub X to line up on the runway. And behind that diamond you see back there is another Carbon Cub. So open shared world means that, you know, you're going to have to adhere to others around you. And I think that's so cool that that's going to be an option right out of the gate. Here's a beautiful shot of all of them flying together. And one thing you're going to notice immediately is how smooth the experience looks. I mean, look at this. This is, you know, not captured, but this is a camera off to the side recording, and you can see how smooth that is. And there's no rubber banding and jumping and all that stuff. Maybe this is, you know, in a smaller testing group, but from what we're seeing here in this entire video, it looks extremely smooth, and they do explain the reason why that is the case. Here's a look at the UI, augmented by real-world air traffic data. So they're showing you what the AI is like. So you can have AI in there with you during the multiplayer session. You'll have all sorts of different things that you can do to kind of cater your own groups, and they'll go into that in a little bit. But ways to engage in multiplayer, they're going to show us here. We'll let this play through, and then we're going to break it down, I promise you. Beautiful shot here on the side of the mountain, and you can see a couple Cubs just playing, doing some bush flying, landing on a mountain, taking off, flying over glaciers. It's everything you've ever wanted. Live players only mode we're seeing, so you can just go out there and kick it with other people. I think that is so cool. Here's a look at the UI of multiplayer. You got air traffic and weather and time. We'll go through that in a little bit. Some more shots off to the side, just capturing these guys, you know, playing on the simulator. And it looks very, very smooth from what we're seeing there. And I love what we're seeing as far as these shots with all of these guys together. I mean, if you've ever seen real-world videos of people doing formation flying, it looks very similar. And man, we haven't had any good formation flyers as far as like sims, what they can produce besides DCS. DCS is absolutely unmatched, but this is looking very promising for a civilian simulator, and I'm very excited for that. Flying over, looks like a little valley there. Now they're watching that Cub land, and look at that. When he landed, you could see the actual landing gear go into the grass, and we'll talk about the grass a little bit later on as well as we break that down. Beautiful sunset shots here of everybody together, and look at all the different types of airplanes flying together at different speeds. You got that Caravan. Look, he's pitching up to try to hold the speed off so he can stay with the Cubs, and they're showing you the groups there at the top right. And how you can kind of cater your own personal experiences with your friends, and that is wonderful. You know, that's fantastic stuff. So it's a pretty short video. It's about 7 minutes long, and they're just showing you all the different things like that. And we're gonna break this down, but I just wanted to show it to you as we see it ourselves for the first time with you. If you live under a rock, you know. So here's everybody flying along. You got a 172 with the G1000 package and flying along with all these Diamond airplanes. And look at that. They're like in perfect formation. That's beautiful. So they're showing their status online, servers, and they're showing you what the UI is capable of as far as that goes. Beautiful shot of the Icon A5 flying along with all sorts of different airplanes here. And I love the glint of that sun. Look at that shot of all the TBMs in San Francisco. It looks so crazy with everybody together. And there's some caravans as well flying. I love the shots that we get in this video. I can't wait to break them down. And here it is, the A320neo flying overhead of the A5. And now they're showing you, and they're basically explaining, hey, the way we're going to do the live AI traffic and the other airplanes around you, such as live players, is within like a 200-kilometer range, basically, is what they're explaining here. Again, watching the full video, they will explain this. I don't want to take that away from them. They're doing a fantastic job with these Feature Discovery Series videos. And we're here to just break it down and look at all the beauty in the sim and try to point things out that we hadn't seen before. There's one of those fake-looking A330/767s. And there's another one flying over the Forum. This looks like it's in L.A. on short final there. Beautiful shot overhead with a bunch of people around. And again, you're just seeing how smooth this experience is looking online. And this is what we wanted to see, you don't want to see some rubber banding, jumping around stuff. Here's a great shot. You have the TBM climbing here, and we're looking at all these Citation jets. Yes, they are showing us some more of these jets in action. Here they are together, flying together. You can see an awesome shot of the reflection on the wing there, and out the left wing of the TBM. Look at that moon. That moon looks beautiful right there. And you got the sun hitting the side of the mountains. And they're showing, hey, you know what? Flying along. Look at that. You got a Citation just buzzing you. It looks so good. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these Cubs together, all different altitudes, all sharing the same speed, it looks like. Another shot of the Neo flying overhead. Caution, wake turbulence. Especially right here, you got an A320 Neo cockpit shot looking off to the right. Altimeter's 2992 there. And then look at all of these. Are we in France? Because that's usually where you see a bunch of Airbuses like this in formation when they're doing their promotional videos and photo shoots. Here's a great shot out the left wing. Look at all those A320s lined up like a pair, or like a huge fighter group of F-16s. So there you go, guys. That is the look at the Multiplayer Discovery Series video. Let's do what we do, and that is break it down. In the opening shot, we have a bunch of TBMs lined up, and you can see the sunset or sunrise. Looks like a sunset because you got a little bit of a mountain on the left there. And this looks like it's probably shot at LA or something, and that would make sense. But looking here, look at the lighting on the runway, how it is on the side of the fuselage of the TBM. Beautiful stuff here we're seeing. And that's just, showcasing the lighting. And you can see the lights there in the wingtips lighting up like a recognition light would. Like it's pulsating back and forth. This is a great shot because we're seeing the evolution of these builds that they've been showing us. We see this diamond waiting to take off, and you're noticing we've got something that I want to point out, and that is you got a person in the right seat now. We hadn't seen that before. So is shared cockpit going to be a thing? They haven't really talked a lot about that, but with multiplayer, I've noticed in some of these shots, we see 2 people in the airplane instead of just 1. Maybe that's just a hint or a nod to that. I don't know. Another thing we see in this opening establishing shot is we've got the tree models looking much better than they had in previous videos we've seen. And number 2, they have redone the grass. Now, they said they took community feedback and said, hey, we're going to redo the grass because a lot of people said the blades looked too big and it looked unrealistic. So they scaled it way back, and just look at what we've got here. That looks absolutely wonderful. This shot I love because it really showcases the lighting of this simulator. And you're seeing how these 2 airplanes on the left-hand side are all lit up, and even the Cessna that is getting ready to take the runway after the Cub. This just screams to me like a real photo, doesn't it? Like the way the lighting is hitting these 2 airplanes on the left, that looks like a real picture to me. But man, just I love the new look of that grass. And I don't know what that 172 is doing, man. You got to wait your turn. And this looks very similar to what we saw in the very beginning whenever they released that gameplay trailer that everybody said wasn't gameplay when it turned out to be that it was. And here's another shot of them all flying together. And we're seeing just how prominent the lighting is on the airplanes. I'll back it up a little bit here. We'll see right there. You see that 172 down there. And that beacon is pretty bright, probably unrealistically bright, unless it was an LED that was putting out a lot of light, which maybe it is. I don't know. But having visibility like that during the day is helpful when you're trying to see other traffic around you. And now that we have this shared world, we're going to have to really watch out for each other if we choose to engage in the simulator that way. I know me personally, my videos will always be online because you never know what you're going to see. You just don't know. We've got him using the Thrustmaster joystick and throttle setup here, and just flying along with 2 other airplanes. We'll let it play a little bit here, and you're seeing the just how fluid the dynamics are on the flight model. And we've seen that in previous videos. Nothing new here. We've seen the HUD, and I've seen some people being upset about the gamey, in quotation marks, HUD. This is all, options for people that are brand new to aviation, brand new to the sim. All this stuff can be turned off, so it's not a big deal. You don't have to fly in third person with all these gimmicks on the screen if you don't want to. You can fly inside and make it your own experience, but we shouldn't be docking on the sim because they're giving these kind of options to newer players. Let this play through, and you can see that tail strobe on the Cub there, right there. You can see it pretty prominently. Not overpowering. So I've noticed in some of these gaming engines as of recent, sometimes you get a light that looks right when you're near it, but at a distance it looks very, very bright. I don't know if that's what's happening here or not. Again, this is all early stuff we're seeing. I love this shot of him chasing this Cub, and you can see how they're dealing with the turbulence off of the mountain on the left-hand side. And it's dancing these airplanes around. And right there is the only time we kind of get that multiplayer-ism. But maybe that is because they dumped that elevator forward. You'll see him just go, boom, straight down. Which is, it's possible. But whenever we run it in full time, it looks like it actually is a little bit of a bobble. I don't know. But regardless, this is just looking fantastic. So here's a shot of the UI. We have the world map. And it looks like we have fly at the bottom right. We've got a slider on the bottom left for time. Top right's your flight conditions. You've got from, select departure airport, runway, and then select arrival airport and runway. And then the top left, you have the airplane. So we can assume you choose your airplane here. You choose what departure airport, what you want, what arrival you want, and you can slide the time. And you can hit fly and go. And at the bottom, we've got go back, reset, open filters. So we have filter options for everything. You can load and save stuff. So maybe you can save a flight plan and load it here. You got tab, and then insert is to show the legend. And you're seeing all these little green airplanes. And what they're showing you here is they're using real data, like ADS-B data augmented by real world air traffic. And they're injecting that into the simulator. So on multiplayer, you can have AI, or you can turn them off and just have a live, amount of people. Because think about it, you're going to have live people, thousands of live people, and they're going to have thousands of real flights happening. So here's ways to engage in multiplayer. I love this shot. We're looking down the side of this mountain, and you see these 2 Cubs just having a great time playing on the side of a mountain. And here we can see the new grass again that's been revised. It's much smaller. It's not those huge blades any longer. And when he comes over this corner and he makes this right-hand turn, you're going to notice those Tundra tires are being, they're not completely covered in grass, but they are enough to where, wow, it looks very believable when it comes to that. Here's another shot here of the grass. Now, I don't know if they're doing types of grass. They're doing, large amounts at different heights. We don't know that, but that looks much taller, the grass does there, than it did when we originally saw that like mown look next to the runways at an airport. And I think that was the biggest thing that a lot of people were talking about, was that the grass looked too big and unrealistic at these airports because it looked like, they hadn't had any groundskeeping at all. There was nobody, mowing the grass or taking care of the airports, which we all know in real life that's not the case, unless you go to a remote location. So Another off the cuff shot here, using that Thrustmaster stick, and has the little yawing on it for that. And you kind of get an idea here. I know this seems ridiculous, but we actually get to see these airplanes being manipulated by the controls in this shot. So you'll see he uses that left rudder here, and you can see it translated there. A little bit of a latency there, and then you'll see it here as he goes to the right. And it kind of snaps really, really sharp there. And remember, we're going to have multiple options when it comes to the realism and controls and all that, and you can even have legacy if you'd like. So keep that in mind. We don't know what they're using here. They could be using something very, very simple. We can't judge it off of that, that's for certain. Here they are flying in that ravine again next to the mountain, and we get this shot here. This is the new multiplayer UI we haven't seen before. So he's got a TBM 930 selected at the top. We've seen all that stuff from before. And at the very top, we have that little bell, little person, little two people, and then that little radar-looking symbol. They kind of go into that later on. Flight conditions here, you're seeing they're clicking on that, and they have presets of live weather. Man, I can't speak today. Live weather, clear sky, few clouds. So they have clear sky selected there. They can change the day that they would like. At the top left, we've got multiplayer, live players, all players off, group only. So other players will not be visible with the exception of group members. This is great, especially if you want to fly with your friends and not worry about, a 9-year-old in a 172. Let's be honest, in a A320 doing, God knows how fast over the top of you or crashing next to you, and you can have your own experience. I do like that. The air traffic below it, you've got live traffic, AI, or off. So you can have the air traffic turned off, you can have AI, or you can have live traffic, which is everybody in the world at one time, which is awesome. At the bottom, you got weather and time, live, preset, or custom. So these are all options available to you when you are on the multiplayer side of this sim. Here's another off the side shot flying the Cub. So we now know who's flying the yellow Cub and who's flying the other one next to him on the left. And we're, again, seeing how smooth the experience looks to them, just captured through the side. Now, if the frame rate seems low, of course, I don't think they're shooting this shot in 60 frames per second. I think it's probably 2495 or something along those lines, maybe even 30. So we're not getting that 60 frames per second look from what we can tell. So that's the reason why it may look a little choppy over there. I don't know what he's pointing at other than other pilots. Here's a shot of the 172, and you got that Cub that we just saw him flying, popping up over the top, and then diving down a little bit. I think they're just kind of showcasing, hey, this is how fluid everything is, because they really go in detail in this video about how fluid they're able to make the multiplayer experience because of their server technology that they're using. And they go into that a little bit later on. Here's the Airbus. They're showing you the options here for live traffic, for the custom weather. You can do all of this stuff you would like. You got coverage, scatter, all that. Here's the guy flying a 172, and he's using the Thrustmaster joystick as well. They're making that left turn. This is near that little spot we saw him watching earlier, right here, the Cub landing. This is a great shot, and I love this shot because you see this Cub touch down, and the moment he touches down, look at that. He's in the grass. So he's in that tall grass. He's coming out of the tall grass, back in it again. Just a great, brilliant shot of showing what a landing looks like from there. Here we are going down the coast, and you got a bunch of airplanes together. You got a Cub, you got a 172, you got a caravan, couple caravans, another 172 there. These are two Cubs looking over at that sunset. Looks absolutely gorgeous. And here they are flying along, and you can see the beaches. I don't know where this is located. If you do, you can leave a comment below. Was this some fluttering we were seeing there on the elevator? It could be. It could have been a lighting issue, but it looks like he's fluttering that. I don't know what that's about. But here's another shot looking off to the right-hand side. And we can see all sorts of different walks of life. You got a caravan, 172, and two Cubs having fun over there. And a beautiful shot here of the UI You got world map, edit free flight, create flight plan, select existing flight. You got the top right. Courchevel, you got current live event landing challenge. So we have landing challenges there. Flight training, learn to fly in a Cessna 152. So the Cessna 152 is going to be in this simulator. Here's a great shot of the cockpit of it there. And flight training returns, which is awesome. I learned how to fly, period, in Flight Sim before I ever went into real world flying. I learned through Rod Machado in the original Flight Simulator series. I believe that was in 2002 or 2004, whatever those came, FS9, even right around that area. And I think that's great. This is a great tool to learn aviation, and then you can just, go hog wild. Activities, find your next challenge. So they have activities planned. We don't know what really that entails. And then a news page here. So the UI looking very, very modern and new. Here he is clicking on that person, and you have add friend, you have online, you have disconnected. It shows who is online right there. And then you can create friend groups, which is how you invite people to go flying with you, which is really cool. So so-and-so has joined your group. It's blurred out, obviously, they don't want you to be adding them. You see their coordinates. It looks like that's where they're located and their altitude at the moment in time. And they're spinning the globe here. This is a great shot of showing you what's going on as far as the satellite data goes for cloud cover. And when they zoom down in on it, look at this. That's looking down in the actual simulator, and you're seeing these clouds alive and moving. So he clicks on his friend, and he has set his departure. And then he can click fly, like that. And I assume that's going to go boom, you're right there next to him. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but they're going to go into the technology behind it all. So we're seeing this fleet of Diamond 40s flying on the left-hand side. And, oh, yeah, they look really, really nice together as far as formation goes. And this is one thing that's really cool is that, man, are we going to have, legitimate formation flying available to us? And it looks like that is going to be the case. So you have status offline, servers, automatic, West Europe they have selected there, shows you the ping. And then they can choose if they're online. And they can choose what server they want to connect to. Now, when he opened that up, from what we can tell there, we don't know how many servers they're going to have, but it looks like you have a few to choose from. You've got automatic, West Europe, West USA. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because they do talk about that in the video, about how that does make a huge difference, having the powerful Azure AI and all that stuff to get things done, or Azure. So here's a great shot of them flying along. Here's the Icon A5. We know this is just such a brilliant airplane that they're bringing to the sim. There's not a whole lot of them out there in the real world, and I'm excited to fly it in this simulator. Here's a cool shot. You got the Diamond, like the 62 over there, the 42, and then you've got a 172, another Cub, another Diamond, another Cub, and then another twin Diamond there, and then another Cub in front of him. But look at all these airplanes. That glint of the sun looks wonderful. Here's the fleet of TBMs all flying together over San Francisco. And I love this shot. And the reason for it is, the marine layer in San Francisco and low-level fog, that's something that we have seen not performed very well in the past in other simulators. And they've been really showcasing that in this sim. And all the videos we've seen so far is that it really does a great job of depicting that. And I love the view distance we can see all the way over to Oakland and beyond. It looks brilliant. And we're seeing those strobe lights light up all together here and there. Here's a shot of them up in the mountains. And you can see down here, especially on the bottom left, you can see we're out in a remote location. Not really sure where this is located. You might be able to figure it out by that VOR there. But on the left-hand side, you're seeing these lower resolutions being used on the side of the mountains. We can't expect all of the textures to be just beautiful and crisp and perfect, especially when it comes to using ortho. There's just no way. But this shot here of all these TBMs making this left turn is awesome. And they continue to fly along. And you're seeing right here, I'm going to slow it down, but you're seeing the bobble of the flight on the left. It almost looks like they're all connected making that turn, but you'll see that one guy just a little out compared to the others right there on that left side. And you can see the movement of the elevator actually right there. So the control surfaces being shown in multiplayer is as much as they have shown here. It looks like it's pretty much 1-to-1 of your own airplane. I don't think they're going to water that down at all. Here's a great shot of 3 caravans flying in formation together. And this is something that I've noticed. They are just really showcasing multiple airplanes close together for a reason. They're like, hey, look at this. You can do formation flying, and it looks very believable, right? I have to agree. And I love this shot here. We can see the cloud cover. And then you have another layer above that. But we can see down below, some of these lower cumulus clouds are creating a shadow onto the ground. So you can see what that looks like. And here comes the Neo, the A320 Neo flying over the top. And I love this. They're showing you some more of the exteriors of the Neo. Now, here's a shot that we haven't got to see a whole lot of, and that is the Icon A5. You can see the altimeter on the right, the airspeed indicator. You've got your attitude indicator in the middle. You got your huge, screen on the right-hand side, and they're flying along. This seems to be the same area. Is this Sao Paulo or wherever? I'm not really sure where this is located, but this seems to be a general area they've been shooting other shots in as well. And then here in the center, we've got the angle of attack gauge. So, everything true to life to the real airplane is shown right here. So this is where they're going into depth about the aircraft visibility and the range of it. And we were just talking about that. So you can see the AI and or the AI, blended together with live traffic or just live traffic. But they explain how they do the aircraft visibility. This shot is cool. This is the LAX looking at runway 6 left, 6 right, and then the 7s. And we can see a nice little time lapse happening here. And you can see the updraft. I'm backing it up so it looks like it's downdraft, but look at the updrafts here over that course of time. So it just shows you how alive that atmosphere is. It looks brilliant. Here's another shot above here in LA. And I've got to say, a shot like this, I really like it because we're seeing all sorts of different captures I've noticed lately with these Feature Discovery Series videos. I don't think it's one machine capturing everything. It's just kind of from all over. And we're seeing the difference in the clarity of the ortho textures and stuff like that. And we need to be very realistic about that. You're getting ortho out of the gate, and you can't expect it to look like every single perfect shot we've seen so far that look absolutely beautiful, because the sim looks absolutely beautiful at times, and sometimes it looks a little ugly, but it's a sim. But I think we're going to see a lot more beauty than we're going to see anything else. I can tell you that. There's the forum here in LA, and we've got an airplane arriving from Sacramento, and that looks like that fake A330/767. And then Southwest 2663 coming in from Atlanta. And that is, looks like it might be a 737, if not another one of those hybrid airplanes we've seen. So obviously Southwest would be operating a 737, but I'm not sure what that one entails. And then we've got Delta 1574, and that like A330. And then an airplane coming in from Anchorage. And you've got a beautiful shot here. In this shot, it looks like the international terminal here. We have one of those fake A330/767s. And look how pointy that nose is. It looks like a pencil almost. Taxiing in from Salt Lake City. And another beautiful shot of those terminals. So they're really, really, really showing off how well those are put together. One thing I love here is if you look to the right of this Southwest 1353 showing up from San Francisco, that's clearly not in the 737 or in Southwest colors. On the right-hand side, you see, look at the detail of things that are under construction there on the right-hand side. I really like the look at that. and that park on the left side as well. Here's a shot with a Cessna 172. You've got the G1000 inside there. We can see peeking in. And then you've got 2 Caravans in front of you, then a Diamond at the bottom flying along. And you're noticing not a pilot in the right seat of the Cessna 172 here. So that's the only reason why. Oh, no, there is another person in there, isn't there? Yep. My fault. Yes, there is. So I've seen a lot of dual cockpit shots here. And I don't know. Does that mean that we're going to have shared cockpit? I sure hope so. I think it would be great. I can't see them not including it since it was such a big part of the last simulator. And then we have a shot of that TBM climbing at a pretty good rate there. 10 degrees of pitch up on the ladder. And then we got the 3 citations flying along here. And I love the look of these airplanes. I'm so excited to have a business jet like the Cessna Citation in here. This is such a great shot. I do love it because you can see the reflection on the wings here. And it really does showcase just how much detail is, on the wing reflection, which is a lot. That's a lot of reflection. And then we have the shot, the Citation. I'm going to back it up just a hair here. Flying along, and I was trying to see if there was any 2 people in that one, but I don't think there's anybody in that. If there's a pilot in there, I can't see him. Then the shot off the left-hand side, I love how realistic the moon looks, the size of it, whether it's waxing gibbous or waning gibbous, I don't know, but it looks fantastic. Flying over the mountains in these Citations. And one thing I've noticed is it reminds you of one of those kind of back in the day with FS9 or even FSX, you could get those packages of formation airplanes, but it was just one solid airplane. It kind of reminds you of that. So either these guys are really good pilots, although you're seeing one dip the wing a little earlier than the other, but this is just kind of stuff that we've seen in DCS, to be honest, as far as latency goes. So I'm very excited to see that. Here's the TBM flying along here. And just, you got 2 Citations buzzing you right on your left-hand side. That looks so cool. And we get closer to the end of this video. Here's a great shot of all the Cubs stacked at different altitudes. And look at the vegetation on the ground with the cloud shadows. Absolutely beautiful stuff here. And I love that shot because they're like, hey, look at that. You notice as the camera pans down, it's allowing more light in, it seems, and the ground, it seems like it gets a little brighter green when that happens. You notice right there. Here's a shot of a A320 literally buzzing this Diamond twin, and it looks awesome. I love the attention to the detail on these models, on these 3D models. It looks really, really, really nice. And as they fly under, you can see that reflection on the bottom where it says Neo. Look at that spec map. That looks awesome. Over the top here. A little left turn. Not seeing any wake turbulence, but he's not really up in it 100%. Here's a shot of the interior of the A320 Neo. And we can see we got level change on the left, vertical speed. That's all in managed mode, dashed out. And then you're on a QFE or an altimeter setting of 2992. And then we have some options. Maybe we can do them. We don't know if those what those rotary dials do. You got ROSE, VOR, nav, and ARC. And all that stuff is present in the real airplane. Cool to see it here. I love the look of these A320 textures. I think they've really nailed that like bluish color, or the blue color inside of the cockpit. But look at all these Neos on the right-hand side staying together like that. That looks absolutely awesome. And we're seeing, even at these really high altitudes, the ground textures could be a little more blurry than we've seen before. But remember, that depends on your internet speed and so many other factors. To keep that in mind. And here's a shot of the TBM overhead, looking down at all these guys. Look at those 2 on the in the middle there. They're really, really close to each other. I love this shot here of the A320, and another one up there flying along, and we can see that wing flex. That wing flex is so just present. It just looks very, very nice. I mean, what can you say? The lighting here looks a little weird. I don't know. We haven't seen that in other shots. It could be a whole bunch of different factors. I don't know. But that's like a pinkish hue to the color of all the whites in this shot. I don't know if this is shot off screen. It kind of looks like it might be. And that's the reason why we're seeing such a difference in the coloring. But look at all those airplanes up there, man. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 A320s just hanging out, having a good time. And then this shot here to end things out, you got unbeatable fuel efficiency. And look at the line of A320neo right there, man. That looks absolutely awesome. That looks so crazy with all those. It reminds you of like, a shot of a bunch of fighter jets all flying together. That's what it looks like. But that looks really, really, really neat. And they're way, way up there in altitude. And look at this guy's doing 170 knots. So they're going pretty slow themselves. And then that's it. Well, folks, that's going to do it for this video for the breakdown of Feature Discovery Series multiplayer. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I think there are some things here shown today that, yes, they definitely know what they're doing when it comes to showcasing multiplayer. They wanted to show us, hey, this is going to be a fluid experience, and they explain how they're able to do that with their servers. And I think we're all in for a great treat on it. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.